If you were to talk to property investors of your father's, grandfather's generation, the idea of co-hosting simply didn't exist. Now back then, property was heavy. Slow moving game of title deeds, massive deposits to save, and decades of debt. But we are in a unique window of history. This is the first time ever where a small, nimble businesses can punch well above its weight in a market as massive as Dubai. Now, thanks to softwares, global travel platforms, a shift in how people live, and how you can now leverage millions of pounds of prime real estate without owning a single brick. Now, to build this correctly, you need to see the total picture of an entrepreneurial journey. Now, that is why I've broken this down into 3 different masterclass and episode to come. Now, in the first episode, we are dismantling the old money myths and absolutely thinking about installing the system for professional arbitrage. In episode number 2, I am going to show you how to build a regularity moat to make sure your business is watertight against Dubai's legal crackdowns. In episode number 3, we move from hustle to scale. Now, literally showing you exactly how to automate your operations so that the business works while you sleep. Now, by the end of this series, you won't just have a side hustle, you will have a sophisticated business to flourish and grow. Stay tuned for every chapter or episode, and because if you miss one of the piece of the maths, the whole system fails. You see, most people enter a short-term rental market and treat it like a absolute side hustle. Now look, I've worked with so many clients, I know this, and some do management cost and charge 10% while they work 60 hours for that property, and they stay flat broke because they haven't built a system. That's just a job, not a business. Now, what I'm showing you in this series is how to build a performance business, the one that is data-driven, uses professional system, and commands up to 25% of margin, or even sometimes more, because you aren't just a manager, you are an investment for the owner and the landlord. Now look, my name is Piers BK from GrowYourBnb.com, and welcome to this video. Listen, most people are spending years saving for a deposit, and co-hosts are currently managing multiple properties across the world and earning anywhere from 15 to 25% of monthly revenue. No mortgage, no maintenance headache, no property ownership required. Now, here's what co-hosting actually is. Think of it as a property management version 2.0, right? You manage someone else's property as a short-term rental listing. You handle the guest communication, you handle the pricing and the operation. But the unique part of your offering is that you perform better than the management companies. The owners pays you a percentage of their revenue, and that's it. It's very simple. Now, here's 90% of new co-hosts fail before they even start because they compete on price. They think charging very little will get them client fastest, and that is where they go wrong. Now, charging 10% is the fastest way for you to burn out and fail, and here's why. When you charge 10%, you cannot afford to provide quality service. You've taken too many properties to make a decent money, and you start cutting corners. You obviously sometimes will get bad guests with bad experience, and reviews to start to drop, revenue starts to drop, and the owners will start to blame you. And that's it, you are done. The right number is anywhere between, I say, 18 to 25%, because look, this is you giving them time back and you have better knowledge on operations and growth for their property. Now, owners hear that number and panic, but here's the maths, right? They need to see this. Managing an Airbnb property fully properly takes probably even up to 12 hours a week. You've got guest communications, messages, cleaners, headaches, pricings, maintenance, reviews. They could literally go up to 12 hours. Now, if that landlord and owners are literally high earner, and let's say likely chances in Dubai they are, a professional earning that they can potentially earn, let's say 500 dirhams an hour, they're losing something like 600 or 6,000 dirhams a week if they manage themselves, right? And that's probably like something like 24,000 a month on what they can potentially earn themselves. Now, your management fee on earning 15,000 monthly, that's probably what, in 25% 20%, that's only 3,750 that they're paying you. Now, not only you're saving them probably over 20,000 dirham in time, you're also increasing their revenue, because I know for the fact that you're going to perform better with the right pricing and the right optimization. See, the difference is you are literally not a cost. You are an investment, but only if you position yourself correctly from day one. Now look, here's what you need to understand about co-hosting. Co-hosting isn't about doing more work for less money. It's about leveraging other people's asset through your hospitality expertise. The owners you want aren't looking for cheap. They're looking for professionals. They're looking for business people. They're looking for investors. They understand the value of your service and your time. They are professionals with 1 to 3 properties. They're too busy to manage the property themselves properly. They probably earn very good money in their actual careers themselves, and they value their time. So they don't want to answer guest messages at 2 a.m. in the morning. They probably don't want to coordinate with cleaners on a Friday morning. They don't want to be stressed about pricing during the week, during peak season, during low season, and more importantly, empty calendars. And that's where you come in. Now, let me tell you what your service offering should look like, right? It should be a full service management, and it should be everything. And I know somebody might say, but that's a management, and I'll touch base on that later in the video. But guest communication from inquiry to checkout, check-in, obviously checkout coordination, cleaning management, literally basic maintenance reporting to the landlord, but you shouldn't be dealing with like the whole maintenance, obviously dynamic pricing, and making sure your landlords have monthly reports. And that's your core package. That is your 18 to 25% of monthly revenue. Look, but this is what gets interesting. The additional services. You can now start offering property setup and optimization, and effectively I've seen people charging 500 to probably 10,000 dirham upfront for professional photography, probably coordination, and probably even another 2 to 3k dirhams on interior designing consultation. Because remember, you will have the knowledge. So there you go. That is more additional revenue to your business. And see how this works. You are not just managing properties, you're building a proper business. Now here's your first action step: research your market. And I'd like you to do a couple of things, and I'll do a screen share with you guys. Open Airbnb right now, search Dubai, look at the areas like Dubai Marina, Business Bay, JVC, downtown, whatever that is, and find probably 10 properties with bad photos, probably low reviews, and even poor description. Now those owners need your help. They are literally your first targets. Now check out how many properties there is in that area. Look at their occupancy rate. You can just look at the calendar, give you an indication. Check their average nightly rate and find where the opportunity is. Then look at the property ownership patterns. The individual owners managing probably 1 or 2 units, perfect. Big companies are probably dominating it, then just move on to the next area. Your ideal clients own a property at least worth 1 million dirhams. Now it's generating at least probably what, 10,000 to probably 12,000, 12,500 monthly on revenue, but they're too busy to manage it properly, and they value quality over cheap prices. So you need to find these people, right? Because I've spent time here in Dubai myself, and before I moved into a permanent place, I spent a lot of time staying, probably stayed in 8 to 10 different Airbnbs. Now let me address the biggest fear new co-hosts have, right? Is what if I mess up? Now I've never done this before. All of this question is in your mind, right? Listen, every successful co-host started with 0 properties. The difference is they had a system. Now you don't need years of experience. Trust me when I say this, you need a process, a checklist, a communication system, a cleaning protocol. These are the things that most operators fail to set before they start. And that's what separates professional from amateurs. And at GrowYourBnb, look, we've worked with over 6,000 properties globally, right? And we've seen what works and what fails. And the most successful co-hosts have one thing in common. They treat it like a proper business from literally day one. They have contracts, they have systems, they have boundaries, and they charge properly. On the other side, the failed ones, they wing it, they undercharge, they overpromise, and basically they get burnout in 3 months. Now look, please don't be that person. Now here's what you need to do right now. Business plan. Even if it's a simple write down your target market, your service offering, your pricing, and your first 90 days plan. Now you can easily go and get a business bank account, create a basic sales material, write a simple contract covering all your services, the payment terms, and cancellation policies. Absolutely make it official. Then what I'd like you to do is start reaching out, not with I will manage your property cheap, but I have analyzed your listing. You are leaving up to 3,000 dirham on the table every month, and here's how I can fix. Show the value before you ask for anything. And look, I'm going to share you guys what I've been doing over the last few years, and it's reaching out to people, not by saying I'll manage your property cheap or, we'll help you build your brand. Simple. We analyze their listing and we will say to them, look, you're leaving, based on this, you're leaving up to 3,000 dirham on the table every month, and here's how I'm going to fix it. And you need to show them value before you ask for anything. And that's how professionals operate. Now, here's the reality about Dubai specifically, right? This market is absolutely massive. Dubai probably welcomed over 17 million visitors in 2023, and the government wants to keep growing, and they are hitting incredible numbers from last year, 2024, and probably even going into 2026. And tourism is literally exploding. Business travel is back. Long-term stay are absolutely booming. I'm a prime example of what happened when I moved here, and I know so many people doing the same. And the demand is there, the supply is there, the opportunity is massive, but it's also regulated, and it's very regulated, right? And guess what? It's actually a great and good news for you. Most amateurs hosts don't understand the legal requirements. They are operating in what we call the gray areas. They get fined, and they probably are going to get shut down. And guess what? You're going to do it fully properly, and that's what's going to make you fully more valuable than anyone else in the market. And look, in the next video, I am going to break down exactly how you're going to navigate the Dubai's law and regularity of framework for short-term rental, the permits you need, the legal structure you need, the DTCM requirements, and everything else within that legal requirement for the business. Because here's one thing, knowledge is your advantage. Now, when you tell an owner, I will handle all the compliance, all the permits, all the legal requirements, you become the most valuable asset for them. And that's worth 25% on management all day long. So here's your homework, guys, before the next video. First, I would like you to research 3 areas in Dubai. Now find 10 properties in each area that looks like poorly managed, right? We've talked about what you're looking for. Secondly, I want you to calculate those properties earning with a proper management. Now, i.e., what if you used to get a longer term booking? What if you used to fill calendar more? Thirdly, I want you to write down exactly what service you would provide. Now do this work and don't just watch and forget. The co-hosting business model works. We've proven it with thousands of property I've personally worked on, optimized, build brands, but look, only if you approach it professionally. You need to charge properly, you need to provide value, you need to build system, and you need to scale correctly. And that is literally the formula. Subscribe right now, because in the next video, we are diving deep into the Dubai's legal requirement for short-term rental, the permits, the tourism dirham, the 2026 regularity changes, and everything you need to operate legally and confidently in the Dubai market. To get more information, follow us at GrowYourBnb or my personal one, which is Piers BK. And this video that I'm going to launch in the next week is going to separate you from 95% of amateur hosts. So guys, I will see you there in the next video.